There we go. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all keeping well. And we're just going to kick off this DARE webinar now in one moment. Here's Michelle. You hear me okay, Michelle? Can you hear okay, Michelle?
Hello, yes. Hi,
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good.
Here we go. I just had to switch over so my phone didn't fall over again. Let me change my name here. Hi, everybody. Oh my goodness, we have 100 something people on here already. Holy moly. Hi, guys. Can you hear us okay? I'm going to just open up this chat here.
Yeah. So we were just over on Instagram Live talking about the official launch of DARE Academy today. Some of you might have seen that, and some of you might have joined us from the Instagram Live to be here on this DARE webinar. So great to have you here, and hoping you can hear us all okay. You could even put into the chat maybe where you're listening in from, just so we see it's, yeah, good.
All right, and I think here comes Aida. Trying to see how to, okay, I gotta adjust this chat so I can maybe at some point bring somebody. Oh no, you're the host, you do that, that's why I can't find it. So if you want to bring somebody in, look on the top of that chat, see little hands. So
cool.
That's all I remember. There's Aida.
Hello.
Hey, Aida. We're just saying we were just over there on Instagram Live, and some people might be joining us from there, which is great.
Yeah, great. And
once again, delighted that DARE Academy has officially launched today. Some of you might have seen an email about that as well. And DARE Academy is a program created by Aida with contributions from me and Michelle. And it's been a difficult process for Aida to make it, because she'll be shooting a lot of it from home and learning how to edit and use a teleprompter and everything. But it's a really, really great production, very high end, and we got a great trip to Ireland out of it. You guys came over here and we shot some stuff here as well, which is...
That was the best part. You guys, yeah. Michelle is more hilarious in person than she is on the videos. I wouldn't have thought that this is possible. It was such fun memories of that time. It was wonderful. And I just watched the video on the sales page. I think I've just watched it once and just skipped through it, and I just watched it. It's so good, and it brought up so many great memories of that time. And it was kind of like the first moment I realized, oh, it's done, it's online now. And yeah, I kind of saw it more clearly this moment, and I'm very proud and very happy, and I hope that you guys love it and you get a lot out of it. And if you have feedback, if you purchase DARE Academy and you have feedback, or you wish something to be added, or you feel something is missing or something is confusing, then please do send us your feedback. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah. And then we can make a part 2 for all the stuff that we missed in the Caribbean on a cruise. And you guys can all come with us, and we'll have a whole big DARE international meetup. What do you think?
That sounds fantastic. I've been telling Barry for the longest time we need a DARE tour bus. You guys, what do you think? Touring around the world.
Stopping off at all the different towns with our DARE pins. Aida, your flying man is there he is, yeah. They keep twisting around.
It keeps twisting. He's tired. He's tired. He's like, I'm done. No.
So this webinar, we're answer questions for people. And Michelle, I think you've already got a list of some Q&As that came in.
Yeah, I had a hard time with the list last webinar, but I have it up here. So we can just start going through this. I'll read them out loud. Whoever wants to start answering, we can start answering. And if you guys in the chat, if this is your thing too, say it, oh my God, that's me too. Or if it's your actual question, pop in and say hi. And, so we could see, even to adjust certain words to, like, you'll see we're answering specific questions, but a lot of it you'll hear generally the same common threads that run through most of the answers here. Okay, so let's start here. Question number 1, how does one deal? I also want you guys to notice the words deal. I've been struggling with trying to notice those words because they're all throughout a lot of these questions. How does one deal with detachment from reality in terms of the mind not being present, as I found trying to be present is an arduous task? So dealing with detachment, if anybody on here is dealing with feeling disconnected, maybe this would be a similar response. Brain fog, DPDR, disconnected sort of feeling. And trying so hard to be present.
Yeah. Well, being present and being detached at the same time is really, really hard. Really hard. So maybe just try and don't have this expectation on yourself at the moment. Right? It's okay that you feel detached. It's okay that you are not present. We cannot be present all the time. That would actually be too much for us to notice all and everything. And also keep in mind, at the moment you are sensitized, you're not supposed to feel present and good. You feel detached, which is surely due to anxiety, I assume, and sensitized nervous system. So there's a lot going on. At the same time, you feel detached. At the same time, there's an over perception of reality that goes on. So a lot of things are happening at the same time. So I think it would be best if you could focus more on just embracing and accepting what is there and trusting that your body will get back into balance, and you will feel more connected with your body and with the people and with your surroundings, and your sense of being present in your body, but also with your environment, will return. There is sometimes too much effort keeps us trapped, even though we're trying to do the very right thing, but we're trying to solve this with our head, when actually anxiety recovery has a lot to do with our attitude, or mostly to do with our attitude, and not so much on how much effort we put into diffusing correctly and allowing correctly and running towards us as much as we can. So it's rather as Michelle said in Dear Academy, learn how to be rather than to do.
Yeah, even just the word, how does one deal with detachment? You don't deal is my doers, is my, what do I do about this? And the dare response is like, it all boils down to nothing. What do I do about feeling detached?
Yeah.
You don't do, right? It's the dealing. If you're so busy staring at, I feel so disconnected, trying really hard to be present, to check to see, did it work, right? Who goes through this process? I'm trying so hard to be present, but I still feel so detached. What am I doing wrong? You're still fighting feeling detached, as opposed to like, grow your tolerance for sometimes I have fluctuating levels of connectedness and detachment. It's when that I feel disconnected gets marked as danger. There's a danger story attached to it. This means signs of crazy, or I'll never be connected again. It's going to affect my relationship. That tends to be the problematic piece that keeps detached as important. And the goal here is to start treating highly uncomfortable sensations as uncomfortable but unimportant discomfort. And that's the dare response, how we respond to the feeling of detachment, not desperately trying to be present to see if it worked, if I got rid of a thought or a feeling or a sensation.
Yep.
And just to add, there is a question from, it just moved up. Where is that covered? How do we learn how to be, not to do? Where is that covered? Barry, where did you cover that in your book?
Maybe it's in Dare Academy.
Obviously just joking, but all the tools and techniques that we present to you guys, those are just a means to get to develop the attitude of acceptance. Unfortunately, we can't show you what acceptance feels like and how you can move into that. That's why we use so many different analogies, because something resonates more with one person and something resonates more with the other. But the ultimate goal is always to becoming passive, right? So if any sensation or anxiety is in your face, what you want to do is, okay, how can I use diffuse and allow to change this? And this is not what their teaches. So what their teaches you, this is in your face, and you're like, you become passive. And that's the hardest part. This is what Michelle means with doing nothing. Not as in, I don't care, but I use all the tools and the steps so I can do this. All right, I'm not going to be impressed by you. And I'm also not going to be afraid of you. Even though you scare me, I choose not to be afraid, because I trust that you are just a sensation or a state, that a temporary state of mind I'm in at the moment. That doesn't mean that there's something broken or something wrong with me. Acceptance is being passive, moving away from it, creating a little bit of distance while you allow it to be there. Or maybe, Michelle, again, do you remember when you said you have a relationship problem with anxiety?
Yeah, I say it every day.
Just...
I remember 3 minutes ago.
You should write a daily dare on that, because it's just so good. It really sums up the dare response in this analogy. So, Michelle, can you repeat that again for everybody?
It's not the presence of anxiety or the presence of the feather or the presence of trying to pre-answer questions that we might not get to. The presence of dizzy. How do I deal with dizzy? How do I deal with nausea? How do I deal with waking up during the middle of the night? How do I deal with panic attack? You don't. It's how I treat what showed up that I didn't get to decide if it showed up or not. And so it's generally not that if this is a thing that my action serves no purpose, then I have a relationship problem with this thing that my action serves no purpose. And so it's not, oh, I had anxiety showed up. It's me treating anxiety as does not belong. That's the problem piece. When I treat all various forms of discomfort as danger, and I will never tell you ever, and nobody here will tell you to accept and allow danger. And danger means right now, actual life-threatening danger, like trees and bees and fire, not what if this turns into danger and it feels like it's gonna, and what if it does? That's not danger. Those are thoughts and feelings and sensations fueled by fear. And so we treat anxiety as danger. We treat dizzy as danger. So it's a relationship problem with anxiety. It's a relationship problem with dizzy. And dare is to work on this, not to work on this. Like, no, Aida still had her feather the whole time. But you see, she zoomed back. We tend to be like this. And so if I zoom up here, my field of vision is just my face. And so if I want to see more, I don't have to get rid of my face. I just zoom back, and the same face takes up less of my field of vision. And now I can have the ability to find other things I could focus on and pay attention to, while that feather gets to still stay here, because it doesn't matter that the feather is there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you both covered that really well. The only thing I would add to it is, like, if we zoom back even further, it's all about comfort and discomfort, or feeling good and not feeling good. And when we start our day off with that mindset of I've got to feel good all day, and if I move into that comfort or unpleasant feeling, it's a bad thing, and I need to get rid of it and fight it. But your day will have states. It's a flow. You're in and out of good and bad moods. But normally we don't react with fear to bad, kind of just let it pass by. Whereas with dare, you're really training yourself that not to have that overreaction to the unpleasant feeling, because you've lots of unpleasant feelings in terms of pain and discomfort, but you don't upset yourself to the same degree as you do with an unusual sensation like depersonalization, or any of what did we begin off talking about? It was
detachment.
It feels detached from reality.
Yeah, which is just unpleasant, yeah. But for other people, it's something else. But again, it's, can you allow yourself in the morning to have that experience without upsetting yourself over it, and understanding it probably will be part of your day for the next foreseeable future. It'll definitely there'll be, depending on the person, there'll be elements of the day that will have intense moments of that. And the more accepting of that you are, the faster they dissipate, and you just drop back into the moment easier without that resistance. So it's always kind of like just dropping back in after anxiety. It feels like pulls you out.
Yeah. And one thing I would like to add to the relationship thing, Michelle, because what I remember, Michelle, you saying is, like in every good relationship, if you have a problem with your partner and you expect them to change so you can feel better, that's not going to work out. It's the same with anxiety in so many cases. So I am going to be okay as soon as my DP changes. As soon as I don't feel detached anymore because of you, then I'm going to be fine. And then I can go back living my life. Then I can start to accept you. But you have to start first.
It's when your DP empties the dishwasher, does the hoovering and the cooking. That's when things get better.
Just put it back where you found it from. It's so freaking hard. All right, let's keep going, because I know we.
And sorry, someone said DP. What does DP stand for? So it's that depersonalization is what it stands for.
So I know we spent a lot of time on that question, but guys, know that it's kind of the answer to a lot of questions. That was just a good way to start off, especially if people don't know a whole lot about the DARE approach yet. They just happen to see us live on Instagram. They're like, free webinar, right? And then what do they talk about? This is how we approach whatever the next subject of the thing is that we fight. So let's move on to the next one. Can you guys see the questions too, or should I just go through them?
No, they're all yours.
You went all in on me, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I have the fear of getting panic attacks. The physical symptoms I'm not afraid of. It's the psychological side of it that puts me in absolute terror. The thought of not being able to cope and not being able to stop this on my own and needing help from someone to get me through it. Could the DARE response help me with this?
Want to go? Want to start,
just
Barry? Want to start, Barry?
No, you go, Aida, first, please.
Okay, so first of all, what you're experiencing, I would say 95% of people experience when going through a panic attack. So your fear seems to center around losing control, or that this panic attack will rise up, it will peak, and it will stay on that peak forever and ever and ever, and you will not be able to help yourself and will need assistance from somebody else. And again, it's an illusion. First of all, start at the basics. What is a panic attack? What is its function? Is it uncomfortable? Yes, but what is it designed to do? If a panic attack would be harmful to you, mankind wouldn't have survived evolution. And I think it's important that if you still do fear that panic attacks might harm you physically or mentally, really go back to the very basics, educate yourself on panic attacks, and build your trust slowly. There is no way around than experiencing a panic attack without calling for help and having the experience that the worst case scenario that is in your head that you fear so much does not happen. No amount of intellectual knowledge, no amount of intellectual knowledge can replace the experience of being safe during a panic attack. Uncomfortable, yes, very uncomfortable, but the worst case scenario that is in your head will not happen, and you need to experience that. So work your way up to the point with slow steps by allowing yourself to have panic attacks, by decreasing your avoidance behavior step by step until you build your confidence and then can go to your max feared situation that you have been avoiding and experience that this won't happen. There's unfortunately no easier way.
You know, for DARE Academy, we recorded videos of the three of us talking about our original kind of first experience of anxiety. And Michelle, I loved your experience there in the theater. Do you want to recap that one?
Glad you loved it. I loved it.
I thought your detail on it was very good. And for people who wouldn't know or have heard that story, maybe you could give us the short version.
I never give a short version of anything, but I'll try. So the first panic attack. So I was 17 years old and we had gone out to eat and we ate a lot of food because it was all you can eat buffet. And then we cram into a car. It was very cold out in New York. So we had all these heavy clothes on and thick coats, and I'm in all my friends' cars because I was only 17. My birthday's in May. I didn't have my license yet. Now we're in the movie theater. We saw Pulp Fiction and never got to finish the movie. You know, when you walk into the movie theater and it's very hot and stuffy, and when it's very cold outside, the air quality is sort of thick. That's how it felt when I went inside. And I sat right up against the wall, and my friend sat next to me, and all our puffy coats are smushed together. Theater is jam-packed, right? Pulp Fiction was kind of a popular movie. And then I started to not feel well. I could tell like the world is kind of like disappearing, you know, like when you watch like the Star Wars movies and the stuff goes backwards. It felt like everything was leaving me, and I'm like, I don't feel so good. Started doing a lot of that. Started doing a lot of this, right? Like, so hot. I thought I was going to get sick. I thought I was going to throw up because of all the whatever food we had and a lot of soda. And then I just started thinking, I need to get the hell out of there. And I felt like, I guess this was the panic attack. So the way it felt for me, it was almost like 2 buckets of energy hit me. One, and guys in the chat, if I sound like crazy, or if you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's me, let me know if this is a similar situation. Felt like one bucket hit right over the top of my head. Felt like almost lost my balance and went forward just to have that feeling. And it was like my head sucked backwards into the universe. I don't know how else to explain that other than like my head is now sucked back and everybody's very far away, but very close to me at the same time. And I felt very smothered. Everything got very tight up around my throat. Like another bucket hit me in the chest, and everything went like, I felt like my whole body went like this. And I was like hanging on for dear life. And it just felt like I need to get the hell out of there right now. And I booked. I got up and I left, stretching, and I'm dry heaving, and I'm hot, I'm cold. And that was my panic attack. This whole feeling like the whole world sucked in on me. And I was so aware of that too. Like I was sucked back into the universe, but aware that I wasn't there. It's freaking weird, guys. It's a weird, weird feeling. And from that point on, it was basically, looking back at it, just me desperately trying to never have that happen again.
Yeah.
And so some people can have a panic attack. The panic attack is not in the DSM. It's not a diagnosis. It's like a burp or a leg cramp. Panic disorder is a diagnosis. And this DARE response, back to the question, that's kind of what this is for. We have a relationship problem with a panic attack, and a panic attack is a rush of adrenaline that sort of showed up at the wrong time. For whatever reason, I don't know why. We get stuck in the whys. Was it the Chinese food? Was it hot? Was it my vitamin D levels? Was I not nose breathing enough? I don't know. I had a panic attack. But what I did in response to that panic attack, because I'm a good doer, I now treated and label that panic attack as danger and brace myself for the next one. So what does your alarm do when you brace for something? It sends you more survival energy. And that's how we get so quickly and easily stuck. It was like Pandora's box for me. I went from, I don't have a history of trauma or my grandmother's trauma or other things that happened in my life. I did not. And that's why I try and tell my story, because I don't have a whole real complicated, some people do. And then it makes sense.
It's too much Diet Coke and popcorn.
I just didn't feel good. And my body misinterpreted that signal. And then I misinterpreted my body signal. Right. And so my body misinterpreted that signal as danger. And then I misinterpreted my danger signal as danger. And that just created a pattern of me. What if I have that feeling stuck in the car? And then I was stuck in the classroom, and I was stuck in church. And then it just sort of desperately can't have that feeling here. Can't have this feeling there. Just can't have that feeling in general. And I went from Michelle, who really didn't care about any of that stuff, to constantly like, how's my stomach? How do I feel? What if I throw up? What if
because you were probably such a laid back person, nothing ruffled your feathers, and but yet you have this terrifying experience where you think you're going to die. I mean, it's so intense and you've no idea what caused it and why you're having it. Of course you fall into that pattern. I mean, it's so natural to fall into that pattern of fearing fear once it happens. And I think you describe it perfectly. The detail of that, I'd say, bring back a lot of memories for people of their first panic attack.
Yeah. And for this question, it's getting better at being scared. Really, just like the simplification, bare bones of it is, we got scared and then we got scared of scared. And so everybody's trying not to be scared of scared, the fear of fear. Yeah, but you let go of your fear of fear by first dropping your fight of fear. And so that's why it's this weird sort of upside down paradox, the way this all works. When I have next time you have a panic attack, if your body happens to send you adrenaline at the wrong time, you treat it like this, right? These little flying guys, they're not like this. Like, he's out, he's flying. He's not like this. He's not hanging on. He's the flying guy. You sort of,
and his heart is pounding and he's sweating, but he's okay.
He's scared, yes, but he's treating scared as safe. We treat scared as danger. And the underlying message of DARE is that being scared is not danger. Your body sends you scared for danger, but your body's sending you scared for scared. And that's where we get caught in this loop. And
because you labeled it, right? Sorry, Michelle. Yeah. Because you labeled it as dangerous, right? That's really the thing. Hey, how are these machines called in the supermarket where they label the products, like to put the price on the product?
The labely
Oh,
thingy.
Yeah, the
labeling
thingy.
machine.
Mhm.
Labeling machine.
The price
Yeah.
labeler.
Yeah. So the price labeler. So this
Like
is
a
what we
stamp,
do.
right? Like a stamp. Stamped. Danger.
And this is what we do with sensations. So my very first panic attack, very first, that I was meditating. I was doing something to relax. Nothing
Somebody
dangerous.
just posted that too.
Right? It's like,
Somebody
okay,
just posted
awesome.
that.
And you know, as I just started to become really comfortable and enjoy the experience, my heart started to race. And I swear I looked down and I remember seeing it actually through my chest because it was beating so intensely. And I was sure, it's like, okay, bye, goodbye world. That's it. I'm gonna die. I didn't know what it was. But what I did do is then, because I didn't know what it was, let me classify this as dangerous. I'm not going to say, oh, nothing happened. My body did something weird during meditation. No. My brain was like, oh my God, this is dangerous. And what happened then? I avoided meditation. I kept obsessing about the experience. I was constantly asking myself, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? And then I made the biggest mistake ever. I went onto Google. And now I want you to imagine this. Me, absolutely terrified, Googling heart racing meditation. Can you imagine what kind of responses I got? Oh, you have opened some channels to the unseen world. A lot of energies are now connected with your energy body.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go into some spiritual freaking awakening. And this can trigger episodes of intense depression for years and years. And there are special clinics who treat people who become psychotic in meditation. Wow. Okay. And this is, of course, my brain picked up on all the worst case scenarios. This is what our brain does. And if we don't know better, because I didn't know better then, I believed it. But as soon as you know better, as soon as you have the information of what is going on with your body and with your mind, now you have a chance to change things. Now it's really a choice, because now you can change your behavior, even if you find it hard to change thoughts and feelings. That's hard. You can't change that immediately, especially when you're highly sensitized. But what you can change is your behavior. And behavior in anxiety that maintains anxiety is always safety avoidance, safety avoidance. Every time that you engage in some sort of avoidance behavior, you are telling your brain unconsciously, yes, this is dangerous. Yes, this is dangerous. Yes, this is dangerous. And every time you do that, you strengthen that pathway in your brain. So now when just thinking about, oh, being alone at home, my partner is going on a business trip, that pathway will fire instantly. And you're going to get all the anxious thoughts, all the anxious feelings, all the bodily sensations at the same time. And when that happens, when fear, as Michelle said, imprints on fear, you're going to feel horrible. It is going to feel scary to be scared, but you know better. And this is where behavior change comes in. This is where you slowly practice to be alone at home while you feel scared, so that your emotional brain gets the idea, oh, all right, I misunderstood. And at some point, if you truly mean it, if you don't chicken out, if you truly mean it, and I'm going to wait maybe a few weeks or a few months to really check if you're not scared anymore, and if you stop fighting, and then I will follow, and I'm going to stop my stress response. It's not a quick fix. It's not easy, and it's not something that you can change in a matter of days, but it is changeable, and it is worth doing so.
Right. And I just want to what we're actually changing. I did this on my video last week. I don't know if you guys saw it. See this little green panel? So whatever, all these questions are about scary things. And so that was scary, scared, right? The last one was scary detachment. And so like what we're here to teach you is, so it's not just a green panel. It's not just scary things. It's, where are we? Scared plus things. Okay. They're two separate things that happen here, and they come together. So yellow and blue make green. I got scary things. What do I do about the scary things? Your focus is then on the wrong. Your focus is on the thing that's scary, not for dare. What we do is like we're scary, like scared, has imprinted itself. Fear has imprinted itself to the thing that it thinks you need to fight. It's wrong. It got it wrong. You don't fight thoughts. You don't fight feelings. You don't fight memories. You don't fight sensations. So now you're not just having, I'm not having thoughts. I'm having scary thoughts. And so now I'm using scared to fight thoughts. No, you're having thoughts that your body is sending you fear for thoughts. So you stop and you look and you say, what's happening right now? Oh, fear has attached itself to thoughts because it thinks I need fear to fight these thoughts. Oh, actually, and your behavior is what gets these things separated. Oh, I don't need that fear anymore for those thoughts or that dizzy or that whatever. Thank you. Oh, thanks for that. But, and when you stop fighting first, then this starts to come off. Then this starts to fade. And then this starts to fade. That's generally the process of how that works. I mean, is that what you guys see too? Just
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
visual. I
Oh
love that.
yeah, me too.
I got these on
Absolutely.
Amazon. I'm so happy. I love
And
them.
you guys in the chat, have you noticed before anxiety was a thing, you were scared, you were sad, you were frustrated, you were angry, you were tired, exhausted, hungover, all these things. Now you are all these things plus scared. Oh my God, you're sad? Why? Oh my God, you're angry? Don't get too angry. It might overwhelm you. Why are you frustrated? Maybe you can't take things anymore. Maybe you are too fragile. You see, as Michelle just showed with this visual, everything now comes paired together. And really what Dare teaches us in the moment when you see the two things popping up together, to take a step back and say, hold on a second, those are actually two different things. This is a thought and the content may vary. Today it's, what if you don't love your partner? What if you go crazy? What if? It never stops. So it might change the content. But still, what I'm really fearing is not so much the thought, but the feeling it comes with. The scared. I fear the scared, not the thought, because I know I wouldn't hurt my children. I actually know that my partner is faithful and I don't have to doubt that. But I'm afraid because I have the thought that this might happen. No, the thought doesn't matter. It's the fear you're not liking, because you can think about something truly ridiculous, or maybe something that will be realistic, but it's not in your world. Like, what if your car crashes tomorrow? Okay, doesn't come with a lot of scared. The problem is, as Michelle said, when fear imprints on being scared, and you're fearing that feeling. And as Barry said, you want to get better in being scared, just allowing yourself to be really, really uncomfortable. So everybody who struggles with thoughts, anxious thoughts.
Oh, the chat will explode if you
Not
ask that.
nobody. No, everybody loves their thoughts.
But Aida and Michelle, you're so right. And it's we talk about these things, and I hope people don't get lost in our explanations either. I hope they understand that it's actually all very simple as well, isn't it? And the whole journey, just there, as you were saying, Aida, it's a journey of scaring yourself less. So sometimes if you kind of get lost and going, oh, what should I be doing? Maybe just remember that as well. Remember, that's the journey you're on with this approach, with this program. And one point, going back to your meditation, Aida, like if you're meditating, the last thing your heart should be doing is pounding fast. And no wonder you get scared by that, or if you're lying in bed at night, you're meant to have a low, slow heartbeat. It's not meant to suddenly just, go out of control. And that's why people get so scared, because it's an unusual sensation in that situation. It's fine maybe at the gym, you kind of expect that, or, if you're active, but just when you're meditating or in bed, it's weird and it's unusual and out of the blue. So of course we jump to conclusions.
Yeah, and I think that's fine to jump to conclusions. So the goal is really not to not have an anxious mind that warns you. I woke up with a rash this morning. I have no allergies, not that I know of, right? And all of a sudden I have a rash. I have no idea where it came from. Of course, my mind was like, oh, what is this? Was it this? Was it this? Was it that? So I could have gotten lost in this fear that showed up, but I did the sensible thing. I went to the doctor. I did not engage with that chatter in my mind, but I do have the chatter in my mind. So that's normal. And I think also, Barry, going back to the meditation, I think what Dare really teaches you is to let go of those excessive and rigid demands we have on our body. That was the case for me, at least. I know that before there, when my body did something unusual, I was like, why is it doing something unusual? It's not weird, right? And now I just let my body do weird things. It's fine. And whenever I notice something unusual, if it's something acute, I'll go and have it checked out. But if not, I'll just leave it alone for 3 days and allow my anxious mind to tell me, oh, what if? Fine, thank you for doing that. But I can still choose how I react to that.
And you'll never feel better going to Google, that's for sure. You know, Google will always scare the life out of you.
Google is just instant death on Google.
Yeah.
My neck feels kind of funny. Oh, I'm gonna die in like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Google. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's websites covering themselves for every possibility, you know, that's the problem. Whereas you go to the doctor, you get professional advice and experience, and they know, well, with your age and this background, et cetera, it's highly unlikely it's what you think it is or what you fear it is.
Plus, it's a search engine. Google shows you what it thinks you're looking for. And where, like, this was my video last week too, where it's like, oh, you're fine. No, you're fine. No, you're fine. No. Oh, I might die immediately. Click. And Google's like, she wants to see more ways she's going to die. Here, Michelle, here's more ways you can die from being lightheaded for 12 seconds. Click. And so it's just going to keep showing you more of what you're looking for. Like,
and we are the descendants of people who worried, you know, for hundreds of thousands of years. Our ancestors were people who were probably more prone to worry than the ones who got eaten or killed.
Right. We're here to keep usually our spouses alive, because us doers tend to be paired up with beers, and beers are great for living. Beers are not great for survival. I would have saved my husband. My husband would have died every day if this was thousands of years ago. Every day would have been like, oh, I don't remember that noise the last 27 times we almost died. Chomp. Dead. I would have been like, I was waiting for something to eat me the second I woke up. And that's what we do. We were designed to survive. And so we're just surviving through the wrong things. You don't survive through thoughts. You don't survive through physical sensations. You don't pre-fight danger just because you're imagining danger. It's all the same types of behaviors. We get stuck in the middle of all these things. The questions are just the subjects of the same behaviors. And so we're just going through the questions. If we don't get to your question, we probably still kind of did anyway, because you're surviving through a non-survivable thing, generally.
And on what you said, Barry, keeping it simple, I think that's such an important point. You guys, have you found yourself stuck in a situation where you've been doing really good, like to perfection, but you still felt like the more perfect I do it, the more I try, the worse I feel, the more the tension keeps rising. And this is because effort, at some point, you need a little bit of effort, meaning the effort involves stepping back, resisting the urge to do something, making an action plan, exposing yourself, staying in the situation when anxiety comes up. So that's the kind of effort we ask you to put in. But if the effort is more one of, oh, there's a thought, I need to be aware of the anxious thought so I can diffuse it, because if I don't diffuse it, then I'm not doing it right, and then the thought is going to take over. If you find yourself in that situation, which is very, very common, that at some point you will be there, try and just let go of all the tools, all of them, except allow,
which is the tool. Right? That's the tool, right? To teach you how to let go.
Let go and just focus a little bit more on your body. So when you notice an anxious thought, Michelle, show up your the two, how do you call them? Do they have a name?
Little paddles things.
Paddles. The paddles. So an anxious thought crosses your mind, right? So there's the thought.
Here comes the thought.
Yeah. And there is the feeling. And what people usually do is then, oh, that was a thought. What did the thought say? Oh, what if you go crazy? Now I need to diffuse the thought. How can I diffuse it? Well, if I go crazy, I go
closer
crazy.
And closer.
Right? So instead of doing that, acknowledge the thought by saying, oh, there you are. And then move into your body and allow with your body. Allow your body to become really soft, loose. Take a deep breath in, not to breathe the anxiety away, but to show with your body, yes, I'm having a shitty thought. Yes, I feel anxious, and I can still do nothing about it because I'm safe. Try to move away from the mental effort more to being more passive with your body.
And these are mental tools in a way, and we explain them with these mental concepts, because when you suffer from anxiety, that's where your headspace is. You're up here all the time. So we go there with Dare, and here are the steps, and this is the approach, and that's what you've been hearing us now for the last half hour explain to you. But then there's a point where you drop it and you fall into trust. So it's kind of like, I get it, I understand the steps, but then you drop down and you drop out of your head and into your body more, and into that sense of, I trust everything's going to be okay. And that's kind of the attitude. I trust things are going to be fine. I trust I can handle this. And it becomes that attitude rather than D-A-R-E. And what did Michelle or Aida say about that particular situation or that? And you just kind of forget about all of that stuff and just drop into trusting that it'll be fine. Your heart starts pounding during a meditation, it's fine.
Right. And if you don't trust it now, you don't believe that you trust your body, you don't have to. Start acting like your body is trustworthy. And you start growing trust back in your body by basically like leaving it alone. Right? Take your eyes off of it. If I'm like, oh, Barry, I trust you, and then I'm following you through the restaurant, I'm hiding in a plant to see what you do, right? I'm not treating you with trust. So treat your body with trust, and then you will start to feel trust. So are you treating your body as trustworthy? Are you micromanaging? Are you keeping a careful eye on this? Are you trying to manipulate everything? You're not treating your body as worthy of trust. So you want to grow trust back in your body. Take your eyes off of yourself. Take your eyes out of your brain. And that's where the E of Dare is. Just get into life, not fix this problem and grab some podcast and hurry up and listen to this because now I'm anxious. I have to take my eyes off myself while I feel anxious and let anxious be present while I involve myself somewhere else. It's the over-involvement that's really the problematic piece, not the thing that's there.
Change the label. Change the label from dangerous to uncomfortable. I think if we could sum up Dare or how to use Dare, it would be that, right? Change the label. Because if you perceive something to be uncomfortable, your fight or flight response will not be activated. But as soon as you perceive something as dangerous, your fight or flight response will be activated with all the consequences that come with it. And if you have labeled something falsely as dangerous, racing heart in meditation, which I did, and of course, every time I think about meditation, every time that memory comes up of what happened there, or every time I just try to unwind and slow down, this will come up. Oh my God, if you calm down, you're going to have a panic attack. And that is dangerous. So by relabeling it and saying, yeah, that's uncomfortable. When I slow down, I'm going to be uncomfortable for a while. When I go out into the grocery store, I'm going to be uncomfortable for a while. But I'm not going to go and have a full-blown panic attack that is going to overwhelm me, kill me, make my heart stop. I'm going to suffocate. I will need to call the emergency. You see, you guys, those worst case scenarios are all in our head. And never expect your anxious mind to not bring you these worst case scenarios. That's what its job is. You'll never, ever wake up and find that your anxious mind one day will say, hello, Susie.
It's all good.
Today we're going to go shopping and it's going to be such a great experience. Your heart is going to be fine. Your breathing is going to be perfect and you're going to feel so good. Are you ready? Let's go. Never. Not going to happen. So don't.
Because it's out of a job. You know, your anxious mind's job is to keep you safe, and it's doing its job.
Yeah. And it's incompetent. Right? It's not competent enough to take over. Our anxious mind is there to warn us. The problem is that when we allow it to run the show, it's it's overwhelmed by the responsibility it has to take on because it doesn't have the competence. It can only warn us. It was never meant to do that, and it can only evaluate a situation based on past experience and what I have learned. And since its main job is to warn me of potential danger, it's going to bring up all those files from its archive. I've heard if your heart races too much, then this could lead to a heart attack and a panic attack, the racing heart. That doesn't sound good to me. So let's not do that. So if you take back your leader position, your anxious mind is going to be relieved because it can go back to the job it's been designed to do and that it's good at doing, but it's really not good at running your life.
No. 24/7. No.
But you are, right? You guys are on the same team. This guy alerts so that you can make a decision. Oh my God, look at that. It's that danger. Look right there, look right there, look right there. And that's its only job. It doesn't know what the hell to do after that. Oh, look at that. And so go look at it. And if it's danger, use that energy to fight the thing. If it's not danger, you leave it alone. That's as simple as we can make it here. Like, and you're not doing something to shut him up. He will always scream and alert you because he loves you so much and he wants to keep you alive. He will always alert you to something he thinks you need attending to. So he alerts and you attend. If you don't attend, that's how you communicate back to this guy. Oh, that thing? It's not danger. And you kind of let it be. And this is how he learns. He learns by how you treat things. Oh, that's not attendable right now. That's not right now danger. He cares about right now danger. Okay, not someday in the future danger, right now danger. And if you're not engaged in right now survival behaviors, he's eventually going to get the message that you don't need right now survival energy.
It's fantastic. You know, especially that part, I think that's so important, you guys. Your anxious mind will warn you and your bodyguard, your amygdala, will fire instantly. Those two are like best friends. Your anxious mind is like, hey, look at that. So you look at that and your bodyguard is like, oh, you need energy? Here, I'm going to give you some in case you need it. This is why you notice the thought and you feel fear. But those are just warnings. And hey, would you mind attending? What do you think? It's actually always a question. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And if I go, oh yeah, I don't like that, then of course my bodyguard's going to say, oh, you don't like that? Here's more energy. Right? And that could be a thought, that could be a memory, it could be a situation, whatever it is, it's all the same. The sequence of events and how things happen in your head and in your body always stays the same. Doesn't matter if you fear detachment, doesn't matter if you fear a racing heart or being alone at home or whatnot.
Right. I call it prepped for danger, right? Your body's prepped you for danger. And what we tend to do is I'm prepped for danger. And since there's no danger to fight, we sort of hook that to whatever the next best thing in the room is. Oh, I'm prepped for danger. There's no bears, but they're dizzy. Now I'm prepped for danger and I'm fighting whatever the worst guy in the room is. And so just be prepped for danger and your body like comes back down, right, to rest and digest mode when it sees, oh, she doesn't need that energy anymore because she's just sort of carrying on with life. And it's slowly quick to turn on and then slow to regulate itself. You don't turn inward and regulate it. It regulates itself while you look this way.
Right. Just for fun, why don't people put in the chat in one sentence, what are you taking away from this webinar? What have you learned? What piece of information do you want to kind of reinforce for yourself? Just type it in one sentence in the chat. It's really more for you so that it kind of helps you to remember the key thing that you want to absorb before we end our webinar. But shall we, I know, Michelle, you have more questions there, but shall we maybe bring someone on if they want to come on for 5 minutes and hear their voice?
And guys, and also just if your question wasn't answered, there's a good chance it was answered within the past 14 years of these calls and groups and one-to-ones and all the things we've run. So take a look at all of our old posted. Eventually these come up on our app. So if you like this, well, we keep the last 2 webinars up on our app. We host these webinars twice a month. Eventually they're cut up and put up into podcasts, which you guys can subscribe to, and up on our YouTube channel. Dare has all their social media pages. Aida and I have our own social media pages that we post all different reminders of things like that. I was getting to something. Oh yeah, and so your questions are probably in there somewhere. Pop up on the Facebook pages, search those words before you start posting your own question, because there's a good chance it's been answered.
100%. Yeah, chances are very, very high. Yeah. Oh, those are such great responses. Just going through those in the chat. Yeah. Thoughts are not facts. Yes.
Michelle, you're better at this. I think you can bring someone on now. I think I've changed the host thing.
I don't think so.
No.
I love that, Valerie. But basically, I wrote on a sticky note that fear has attached itself to thoughts. So time to detach that. Fantastic.
So if you'd like to come on the Zoom call, it means we'll hear you, and you will be recorded, and it may be posted on YouTube. So I want to just say that before you come on. But if you'd like to come on and ask a question, you can raise your hand and we'll be able to bring you on.
Maureen, that scary, stuffy animal, you can buy it on Amazon. I think, what did we type in?
I wrote
red little monster or something.
I wrote cute stuffed animal monster. But he's big. He was like $25. They have like tiny little keychain ones on like orientaltradingcompany.com. You can get a bunch of those. But this big guy, Aida's got a bunch. She bought them first, and then I stole them from her. I got a blue one. Aida's got like 3 other different colors. They're cute. They're like a nice reminder of like this guy sending you energy. Did you
I
find
see someone
it,
asking there, is there a dare retreat in person? Well, we have that cruise coming up. We're going to put you all on a cruise ship and sail you around the world. And
wouldn't that be great?
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Dust off my tankinis.
Just getting on the boat, I think, would be a challenge for a lot of people. But
including me, I have seasickness, so.
Oh no!
You guys will be
Get your own
helping.
room then.
Helping Aida. Yeah.
We're not going to be bunk buddies.
Okay. There's a couple of hands raised here.
Oh, you can see it. Okay, because I don't see it.
Let me just take Michaela. Let's try you. You should be allowed to talk maybe now. You'd have to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. That's Michaela. Hold on now. Just make sure I have to ask to unmute. And if we don't hear from you, then I'll just bring someone else in.
Oh yeah, I see. She's there on mute.
Ray Garcia wrote, a bunch of anxious people stuck on a boat. LOL.
All right. Meet you on the Lido deck.
Deborah is next. Deborah Graham. We'll try that. Oh, Michelle, you're better at this than I am. Hang on. Here we go. Let's try
Michelle
this.
and technology together raises my anxiety. Thank you, Randall.
Deborah.
Hello there.
Hi.
Hi.
How are
Is
you?
there regular webinars?
Yeah.
This is the first time I've noticed that this popped up on Facebook, so I would like to be.
So we do, for app subscribers, people who are subscribed to the Dare app, we run them twice a month. And occasionally, once every few months, we do a free one like this, and we put it up on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe that's where other people saw it, so they can join in and ask questions.
Okay.
Is there anything, Deborah, you'd like to ask us? Or
do you feel that this becomes a habit? Anxiety is a habit after years and years of suffering?
Yeah, well, there are automated processes that develop over the years, and the more you practice them. So thought, feeling, behavior, for example, or thinking of something scary or noticing something scary and immediately retreating to depersonalization or derealization. So yes, you could call that maybe a habit. In truth, it's more an automated process that develops, and sometimes it's hard because it happens so fast. And the first goal is really in just noticing those automated processes and becoming aware of them, and then slowly but surely starting to unlink them. So with time and practice, what happens is you still think maybe thought A or experience sensation A, but instead of immediately doing C, you have a little bit of a pause where you can start to react differently to that. But I wouldn't say that it's that kind of habit that we usually associate with normal daily habits. I think it's more the better term is automated processes.
Is distracting considered a way to deal with it, or is it just putting a Band-Aid on?
It's a dysfunctional way of dealing with it.
It's a way
distraction.
of dealing with it. It's a way
Yeah.
that some people deal with it. And rather than habits, right? Look, I do use the word habits a lot because our behavior can become habitual. It becomes like a conditioned response where, like Deborah, over time, like if I put my hand out to you, right, like this, oh, hi, Deborah, nice to meet you. You're not going to like poke me in the forehead. You know that by doing that so many times, you put out your hand and you shake my hand, right? And so using the words habit in that way of like, I've become so used to every time this hand goes out, I shake a hand. Like I get so used to doing something so many times, it becomes kind of like this automatic conditioned response where every time I feel anxious, I try and distract myself. Every time I feel anxious, I retreat to my room. Every time I feel anxious, and so that habit piece would be the behavior I engage in response to the thing that pops up, which is great because that's the part that's changeable. We're trying to change the thing that pops up. And really that was probably never the problem. The problematic part was me treating the thing that pops up as danger, as problematic. And so distracting yourself, if you're engaged in some version of fighting, fleeing, freezing, or protecting yourself from something, that behavior tells this guy that what's on the other side of that fight, flee, freeze, or protect is a threat somehow, or is problematic somehow, or shouldn't be there. So if you are quickly doing this to not hear this, you've adjusted your behaviors in life because of the presence of this. Well, this guy's like, oh, this thing must be a problem. This thing, we better keep an eye on this thing because she's avoiding this thing. And so if you're doing a lot of work, which is what most people do before they find DARE, to do something about, again, I'm having scary thoughts, scary things, so I have to do something because of the thing, that would be the habit, would be the behavior that I'm involved in because of this thing. And DARE is teaching you how to just kind of leave that shit alone, really. Like, oh, this thing that my body sent me fear for. I know I'm sounding like I'm oversimplifying this whole thing, but I'm just trying to simplify it. It's really learning how to do less, how to not fight, how to not try, how to just be with various forms of discomfort without an expectation of it being gone, because danger has to be gone. Discomfort is safe. And all this guy cares about is what's danger and what's safe. And I also can't answer a question in less than 27 sentences.
And I think we're trying to remind people of the power they have. You know, you can feel very powerless when you suffer from anxiety, but with DARE, we're reminding people of how empowering it is to choose a new response to this discomfort. Because it, you know, anxiety steals that confidence from you, and you feel like, no, I'm stuck in a habit, I'm stuck in a rut of behaving a certain way. And we're teaching that there's actually a new way to respond, and that new way to respond can become you know, something that changes your life. And somebody was saying here in the chat, so is anxiety something you're stuck with forever? And I absolutely believe it is absolutely not. It is something you can completely overcome with the work, by doing the work. And it is work and it is effort. But when you do it, you start to notice changes, and those changes reinforce that positive behavior, and you know, you level up and up and up, and you get to that point where you don't consider yourself to be somebody who suffers from an anxiety disorder. You just have normal everyday stress and anxiety.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
You're welcome, Deborah.
Welcome.
And I think, Deborah, one last thing. I just saw a question in the post that might tie into what you just asked about distraction. So engage versus distraction. How do I know the difference? How do I know what is functional and what is dysfunctional, or what is helpful and what is not helpful? Right? So your intention behind what you do is so important. And you can easily find out if you are doing something to change the feeling, or to distract, or to engage, by asking yourself, am I doing this because I feel anxious, or am I doing this despite feeling anxious? If I'm doing it because I feel anxious, then the likelihood of me wanting to change the feeling is high, and this would be considered dysfunctional. But if I say, I feel anxious and I'm still going to go and watch TV if that's what I want to do, I feel anxious and I'm still going to go and fold laundry because this is what needs to be done, then it would be engagement. I hope that clarifies it a little bit.
Great. So I think we'll wrap up there. We've just gone on the hour. Once again, this is kind of a special day for us here at DARE. It's the launch of DARE Academy, the program that Aida put together over the last, shall we say, how long, Aida? A while.
No.
And
to my defense, So I started the Academy, and then Barry asked me to write many, many, many daily dares.
yeah.
So
you see, it all piles up one task after the other. So if people are interested in that program, DARE,
somebody just asked if there are limited spots. This is not a sign up for a 3-week class that there's only spots. This is anybody can sign up for. It's guided videos that you go through at your own time. Sorry,
that's right. And it's found on, if you go to the DARE website, dareresponse.com, and you click on products, you'll find a link to DARE Academy, which we launched today. And if you sign up before Friday, we're doing 3 webinars like this that you can be part of, participate in, like today's, and DARE 360 videos as well for the Fear of Driving program.
So one last question, you guys. I always enjoy when Barry joins us on our webinars.
Oh, wow. I've been cornered.
You're
ganging up on me now.
What do you think? What do you think? Should Barry attend more of our webinars? Did you guys enjoy him?
Yes. Oh, I saw a no there. Yeah. 2 no's, I'm out.
Barry, you lost. Look at that. Look at that.
Well, have a great day, guys. Michelle, did you want to say something before we finish?
Somebody also just posted there, they wanted to sign up for DARE Advanced. DARE Advanced is kind of like our monthly coaching program. You can find information on how to join there on the website, dareresponse.com. It's something like $30 a month, and it includes the app that comes with these webinars, and it includes Zoom calls that I run with Aida. She runs 2, I run 2, a small little private Facebook page. It's more for, not for getting more information. This is more for like implementation that other DARE Advanced members would do. And so rather than being on the Zoom calls like this, where you just see us, everybody gets to participate and chat back and forth. Sometimes we have certain themes or topics and fun exercises that we do. And that also includes the app. So it's a nice place to continue more support.
Yeah. And, with all of these tools and all the offerings, it's, again, like we said earlier, so you get educated and then you move on and you don't need them. You drop into that space of trusting that you are safe, you can handle this. And that's the empowering piece that you walk away with from all of these learnings. Yeah. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Until next time. Bye.